Hey guys, what's up? It's Thursday morning. I'm off on an adventure, trying to do something special for my baby. Love you, Amy. So, I have this 2002 Pontiac Bonneville that I bought back in February of 2012, I think it was. I've had it for quite a while. Longest I've ever had a car by a lot. It's not the hot rod version, but it's a pretty nice car. It's a good looking car. The license plates expired on it in 2019, and I've left it parked in the yard ever since. I was going out and starting it once in a while, but for some silly reason I decided that I was too busy to mess with it. Left it sitting for probably a couple years. And I think the fuel pump seized up on it because it has zero fuel pressure. Headed off to the pick and pull yard right now, get a used fuel pump. Not spending a bunch of money to confirm that diagnosis. So that's $40 versus what, $200 or $300, and we all know about the quality of today's parts and the availability. So hopefully I can find one. But the car itself, having had it for that long, there's a huge sentimental attachment for me. Ever since they started building those cars like that in 2000, I saw one brand new, I was like, man, that's a good looking car. I gotta have one of those. Well, 10, 12 years later, finally got one. It's been through a lot with me. If that car could talk, oh, I'd tell some stories. But some things happen, and my better half is left without a ride, so I'm gonna get this one going and set her up with it. It's about 40 miles to the nearest pick and pull. Cruising down the highway right now, doing unsafe things, I guess. So the car's actually in pretty nice shape, aside from one foolish thing I did to it, but I'll address that. I took advantage of a half price sale they usually do about Memorial Day or so every year at the pick and pull yard here close to me. I'm in the Kansas City area. Ended up finding a nice example of one of these, the same color, so I took the rear bumper cover off of it so I could put the dual outlet exhaust on. Got the leather interior, the leather door panels, fixed all the window motors and regulators. And that was funny, I didn't even realize. I drove the car for years, never messed with the back windows, never even tried to roll them up or down, but turns out there was actually vice grips holding them up. Nice. Replaced the hood on it, something else foolish I did, but it's not a bad looking car. I'm sure it's got a bunch of tree sap, yard garbage on it, having sat so long, but I bet she'll polish right up nice. It's just a little present for my baby. Set out, try to do something positive today. Stick along for the ride, should be fun. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with Independence, Missouri, but it's a different kind of place. Yeah, as soon as I pulled into the parking space, she whipped her door open, and they've been sitting there yakety-yakking for a few minutes, even though I tooted my horn. Just welcome to Independence, Missouri.
Find the career that fits you at Missouri Department of
Only brought a few tools, just some basic stuff. Pliers, picks, screwdrivers, things like that. 1/4 inch, 3/8. Hope I brought enough to get it done. I was lucky enough to get one of these nifty little carts because there really isn't anybody here. This place is usually packed, like way out there, parked down the street. Yeah, it's pick and pull over on Truman Road. See if I can one-hand this cart. Oh yeah. So I don't know about places like this, other places in the country, but they got wheels and tires, batteries, coolant, and just whatever garbage they pull out of these vehicles, and then sell entire vehicles. It's a Ford Taurus for $2,000. I'm not a fan of these things at all, but you know, Toyota Solara, also $2,000. Aside from that little crunch right there, this one looks to be in decent condition. And they usually have these ones locked up. You got to go get somebody to get into them. But these are sold as drivers or builders, they call them. Dodge minivan. I mean, if you want to replace a tip them, and apparently a window. Doesn't appear all that beat up. Oh look, classic Volvo, 2000. Yeah, and they want 2,000 for it too. The neon. Wow, I thought all those were gone. $2,500 for that Nissan? Nah, I don't think so. All the trucks and stuff are over there. An exploder needs brakes, evidently. Seems like most of these are in the $2,000 range. Well, Honda Odyssey, $2,500. There's another Odyssey for $2,400. Sun's cooking today. Chevy Cruze. That one better be $5. I don't know if I've said anything on YouTube or not, but these things are just garbage. $2,400? Nah. Automatic. Where are the GM cars? That looks like a bunch of imports. Oh, way back there in the corner. That used to be where the imports were. I'll pick it back up when I get back there. Back to the General Motors section. Let's see if I can spot a Bonneville. Wow. Ain't much left of that F-body. What you got here? 73 Firebird. Looks like somebody started to build it at some point. It's actually cut out. Grand Prix. I got an interchange list in my pocket. I'm actually just looking for a Bonneville right at the moment. Oldsmobile. Is this an Aurora or an Intrigue? Aurora. So in the Bonneville, you get in the trunk. Hey, if you got to do something working on these cars out in the junkyard or whatever, those are really good creepers. Let's see. That right there is exactly what the Bonneville looks like. I'll keep this one in mind. what engine this bad boy got in it. I brought one of my Milwaukee batteries to be able to maybe look at some mileage on some of these things, but when you don't have a key, it presents a problem. What year is this thing? 2001. That's highly likely that that is the correct fuel pump. 3.5 liter twin cam V6. Yeah, I bet that's why this is here. It's not rusted out or anything. It's got a little bit of damage on the driver's side, but nothing I see is making it non-drivable. Moving forward. Oh wait, I think I saw LeSabre or Park Avenue over there. It's basically the same car. Well, what do we got here? Just reach on in there and pull the rescue handle. Somebody got a bunch of taillights stashed in here. Terribly worried about all that. Need them out of my way. Got some wire packed off in there. That's not a good sign. LeSabre. There's another one right there. This will have the Series 2 3.8 in it, just like the Bonneville. Yes, sir. And it is a 2002. So it looks like I'm in luck with finding a fuel pump, but I want to find a Bonneville just to make absolutely certain before I buy one. Oh, look, there's Firebird over there. Yeah, there's another Firebird. You know, I've been coming into this place for like 20 years or more since they put it here. I've gotten all kinds of parts for some of my G bodies, some of my F bodies. And it's always been the case that when an F body hits the yard, they're stripped immediately. Kind of weird seeing them in here. Oh, there's another F body. 84 Camaro. Doesn't have ground effects on it, so I'm going to guess that was the V6 flavor. Four barrel. Small block V8. The valve covers on there tell me that that's not the original engine to this car. This should have the newer style. Must have had a good dash pad. So yeah, like I was just saying, F bodies are normally stripped right away. There's a surprising amount of this one left. Well, I guess this aisle is closed to cart traffic, so I'll just buzz down there where I can keep my cart in sight. .8 Series 2. That probably has the correct fuel pump. Ecotech, those are garbage. Another 3.8 Series 2. Old Aurora, old Zalero. '03 LeSabre. Uh-oh. Somebody's already got the cover off that one. Huh. Oh, another good thing about doing it this way, when you're cruising through these yards, you can actually pick out your own parts. So if you have the time, try not to just settle on the first thing you see. Find something that's been replaced or is of better quality. You can do that if you got the time. Like that Buick right there has new struts on it. And new brakes. Not that I would reuse junkyard brakes, but you know. And it even has the eccentrics in it for the camber. Neat. Yeah, sometimes I get distracted when I'm out here looking for stuff. Just kind of look to see what's around. Somebody busted the hell out of that one. These things, it's a pretty tight fit. Get my hat backwards so I can get my head in there. So that thing just barely fits in the hole of the fuel tank, and it'll take me both hands to get it out. Evidently somebody had a hard time figuring it out. This one appears to be the OE unit. Hope I don't run into too much of that. What is this? 05 Malibu. This is an 03 LeSabre, so that would have been the correct fuel pump. I'll just do a little bit of detective work. Okay, so these little covers right here have like butyl rubber on them, holding them down. And this one being all bent up tells me that someone's been in here at some point. So this might be worth a look. I think I'll get in there and see what's up. So all I'm going to try to use to get the cover off of that fuel pump and maybe get the fuel pump out of the tank is this little trim popper here. Yeah, never mind the fancy flavors. I've been a mechanic for 25 years, so a little money invested in the tools. That will be to pry the cover off. Obviously, to get the screws out holding the cover on. This will help me get the locks separated from the wiring and the hoses, and obviously 7mm socket. So there's just the 7mm holding that cover on. And yeah, that is a replacement fuel pump. They changed the wiring harness. They usually come with this connector. That's the newer style. And there's some dust on it, but this doesn't appear to be that old. Another thing you want to do whenever you're looking at these cars in the junkyards like this, like if you're looking for an engine or a transmission or something like that, it's always best to try to yank one from a car that's just smashed, and if it's not smashed to the point where you can't get what you need. I really do wish they would write the mileage on these things or something. Okay, this one has 237,632 miles on it. Considering the wear on the brake pedal, the seat's actually kind of nice for that kind of mileage. Somebody might have actually loved this car. Let's get under the hood and see what it's got. Oh, it's still got the Delco Bose in it. Come on, train. Saw the amplifier hanging from the rear deck. So these particular cars are known for engine issues and transmission issues. So they put some weird engines in them, you know, like that Aurora V8 4-liter. That not reliable, hard to get parts for, pain in the ass to work on. It's just a version of the North Star in the Cadillac. Probably don't need to say much about those. So I think I'm gonna take that pump just to have it, you know, basis of comparison if nothing else. I got all day, so I'll come back when I got her out. Okay, maybe before I get her out. I guess it's noteworthy that when it comes to unhooking these things, This little lock right here, you just pry that back, push down here, pull it off. This one for the fuel tank pressure sensor, you just pull up right here on this tab, pop it off. Then the hoses, the fuel lines, got these little guys on there. See if I can do this one-handed. All you do is squeeze these little tabs right here and push the fuel line off. Kind of stick them under the body of the car to keep them out of your way, because after that, you're gonna have to get right here and push that lock ring around counterclockwise, and that'll come off and free up the fuel pump. So this one slipped right out, and they do drain the gas tank. There's probably a hole in the gas tank on the bottom. Can't really agree with the way they do it, but it's for speed and environmental purposes. So there's a little bit of rust on the rod for the sending unit. That's probably not a good thing. The sock that's supposed to be on there has either disintegrated or fallen off. Also, probably not a good thing. But I can get one of my tool batteries, pop this connector off right here, and jump 12 volts into it to see if the pump itself is actually going to work. I might actually take this guy apart and pull out just the pump. We'll see what happens, but for right now, I have one in hand. So this is in the trunk of the 03 Buick LeSabre, which I'm sure is the correct pump, but this is the one someone busted up. So I was talking about the pigtails being different on the aftermarket pumps. It is the General Motors style pigtail, the plug-in. So I have looked at every single GM vehicle in this yard, not one Bonneville. There are several Park Avenues, LeSabres. It's all the same platform, same drivetrain, all that. Just looks a little different on the outside. I have 3 different fuel pumps. The one that came out of the V8 Aurora actually sounds pretty good. This one I believe is factory to a Series 2 3.8 and the LeSabre. Sounds pretty crunchy. Took that one apart. I'll end up having to maybe figure out something about that pump, but that one actually sounds decent-ish. I got a couple more I'm gonna pull out, see what I can come up with. Alright, I believe I've found a winner. Not sure if that's a factory part or not, but I got my Milwaukee battery here. Try to do this one-handed. Just show you real quick why I decided not to go with this one. It is the correct pump. Yee, sounds a little crunchy. No thanks. So I was able to find a fuel pump that I believe is the correct one. It sounds nice, tested it with the battery pack and all that. Headed back to the small town where the Bonnie is. I don't live in the city because, you know, not interested. I like the small towns, it's peaceful and quiet. So, once I get there, pop the trunk open, dig out the crap that I'm sure I have stored in there. Like I said, the car's been sitting for a while, 2 or 3 years. Hopefully pop in this new fuel pump and she'll fire right off, because that's what 3.8s do. Worlds of fun right there, cruising down 435. Y'all ever come to Kansas City, I wouldn't say that it's worlds of fun, but it is fun. It has several roller coasters, a place for the kids, places to eat and all that, you know, typical theme park. I got about 35, maybe 40 miles of this. I'll get back at you. Got to stop by the local Wally World. Got to grab some transmission fluid, WD-40 or something like that. Some Sleeperdude. The differential on that thing has had some issues. One of the bushings is worn out. I've done some homework on it. What I'm going to end up doing once I get it running is pull the differential off of the supercharged flavor of it and make a couple adjustments. Shouldn't have to worry about it again. Alright, got the fuel pump in. That's all buttoned up. Battery's in, it's under the back seat. Turned the key a few times and primed it. Let's see what happens. Hell yeah, baby. She's even got go power. So this is the SE Bonneville. I put that rear bumper on there. The split exhaust. Yeah, it sounds a little better. Bonnie lives. So I took her out for a little stroll. Yeah, the engine fan's running, but yeah, she's sitting there running. So I hit a flash flood, right before the tags expired. Oh, I guess they expired in 2020. At any rate, she's been sitting for about 3 years. When I hit the flood, I hit a mailbox and dented the fender, knocked that mirror off. I still have the mirror, I can put it back on. And busted the windshield, so now, moving forward, I'm going to put the differential on the side of the transmission. Stud welder here, straighten this stuff up a little bit, new windshield, and of course get all of the years of crap cleaned off of her. She'll be pretty. Always been a good car. Oh wait, I believe I have a faceplate to that stereo. What's in here? Sony. Now that goes to the Celica. Nope, must be in Amy's stuff because it was in her purse for a long time. Not in there. Never mind my race card. Or the Puddin's Fab Shop. Or that he did that. Dirtbag. Well, there's the keys to my truck. I'll go drag that out of the pasture next. Got a metallic blue Cadillac Chevy. Anyways, staying on task. Oh. Nope, not in there either. Oh look, Wallflowers, Bringing Down the Horse. It's a pretty great album. Yeah, still good oil pressure, steady temperature. Fuel sender's working because I made sure I snagged that brand new one I found while I was out junkyard treasure hunting. Charging good, responsive. Oh, and the air conditioner's going, still blowing cold. She runs like a Rolex, I mean a 3.8. Still got all 4 gears. Brakes are pretty good. Drives nice and straight. Shouldn't be much at all to get her back on the road. So I drove her over to the gas station to put air in the tires. Still runs like a champ. Brakes work good, steering's nice and tight. Let's take her for a quick run down the road and see just how she is. That windshield is filthy. Gears. 3 gears. Man, those tires are flat spotted bad. Guess I had to put tires on it too. And 4 gears. She's all there. My girl. She's still got all the giddy up too. What a great car. That'll happen when you put some love into them. Now just got to get her back to the apartment, get her all cleaned up, got to get a couple of more parts, I guess come up with a couple tires. Just whip around right here. Air conditioner still blows cold in the whole 9 yards. Damn, look at that sexy bitch. Well, I mean, she's dirty, but not for long. She's home. So as I said, it's getting a new windshield. And I've already scooped out all the tree nasty. But yeah, there's a lot. Even worse on the top. Really is a good looking car when it's all cleaned up, which I'm about to do. All the tires held wind, that's a plus. Like I said, the brakes still work. Not real sure how that happened. Polish up the headlights a little bit. Yeah, she'll be pretty. So I threw on a little mean green to see if that was going to be effective on the tree shit. It is. Soaked all that down. Car wash is literally right down the street. Go give this girl a bath. Alright, so after a small run around getting those guys, small town, I guess the card reader on the car wash is too high tech. They don't even have a scrubbing brush. That's awesome. It'll get most of the grime off. I'll wash her by hand. It'll be alright. I don't mind giving her some love. Here we go. Well, scratch that. Guess I'm doing it completely by hand because car wash don't even work. So I've pretty well been all over with at least my hands. Getting her cleaned up. You know, still not a single speck of rust on her anywhere. Because this has been a labor of love. Love doesn't tarnish. Love doesn't fade. Love lives forever. I'm sure you've heard the expression, put your money where your mouth is. All right.